My name is Karan. I'm part of the user support team here at Toggle. So if you ever reach out at support@toggle.ai, or if you need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm your man. My job is to make sure you have a seamless experience here with us at Toggle. I also love, chatting with users. So if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. If you have any feedback, we'd always appreciate that. So again, don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. In today's session, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through the platform, show you the different features of Toggle, ways for you to tailor the platform to meet your needs. And then if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. I'll also try and squeeze in some of the cool tools we're working on towards the end of the session. But if we don't get to that towards the end, no worries. I will send you a recording where we have some of those tools. Cool. So let's dive in. What is Toggle? Toggle is basically a smart investment dashboard. It's where you can come and look at insights across thousands of assets every single day. These insights we generate are data points which the system is analyzing across millions of financial indicators, fundamental, technical, macro. And what the system is trying to do is it's trying to find interesting shifts in these indicators. So the price of an asset at a high, analysts determining extremely, let's say, bearish about a stock. Seeing the Dow, for example, go 13 days in the green straight, right? These are episodes where indicators are behaving differently compared to how they do on average. So the system is trying to identify these sorts of shifts in indicators. And when it finds such a shift, it then looks at all the previous times in the past it's seen a shift of such a manner. It then looks at the price action of the asset thereafter. If it finds that the price action of the asset is consistent, or at least on average consistent, it then takes that relationship between the financial driver and the asset's price, and it runs a series of backtests on it. How many times have I seen this happen? How does the asset typically perform? What do the returns look like? Have I seen this happen in different economic cycles? And if only if that relationship passes a series of those backtesting conditions, is it generated as a data point on the platform called an insight. So that word you'll hear insight throughout, that's basically the crunching which the system has done to identify an interesting relationship between a financial driver and asset price action. So it's doing that across 40,000 global assets every single day. So that's a higher level about Toggle, but let's actually dive into the platform because it's much easier to explain like that. So whether you're joining us via IBKR or directly, the best place to access the research is on our main website, www.toggle.ai. And here what you can see is what we're currently up to. We're teaching ChatGPT how to invest. So very soon we're going to have a large language model, which you can use on top of Toggle's research to get questions answered with an investing focus. Real-time data, Toggle analysis, your portfolio connected, so portfolio analytics, all that fun stuff coming very soon. Stay updated about this release. You can enter your email and hit let's go, and you'll be on that wait list. You can also learn about Toggle under this product tab, the chat tool, the subscriptions we offer here. We've got 3 types. You've got Copilot, which is our main retail tier. It costs $100 a year. There's also Pro, which costs $1,200 a year. The difference is the asset coverage. So pros get access to not just global equities, but commodities, currencies, futures. They also get access to a backtesting tool called Scenario and some special daily emails. We also have a free tier called Basic, which gives you limited functionality for a few insights. If you're an IB user, you can get these with perks. So IB users can actually get Copilot completely for free as part of our deal with IBKR. And if you get Toggle Pro, IB users can get a monthly trading commission reimbursement up to $99. So up to $99 every month, your trading commissions on us if you're an IB user with Toggle Pro. You can learn more about that under Toggle X IBKR. Under our Learn section, we've got Investing 101. This is our Learn Center where we teach you about Toggle, articles about the leading indicators we have on the platform, as well as the rest, which the pros get access to, and then all the concepts you'll see throughout the platform if you ever need a refresher. We've also got our daily market brief, which is a newsletter written by our co-founders every day. You can find the archive here, and you can enter email here to receive tomorrow's, and then the About Us page to learn more about the team, ways to get in touch, and all that fun stuff. So 2 tools we're going to go through in today's session. The first one is a small tool which we created for free in front of our paywall. It's called What If, but I think it's a great introduction to what's happening holistically here at Toggle. So the What If earnings tool helps you understand how a stock could react based on a company's earnings. Simple as that. So you can search for a company, for example, Qualcomm reporting tomorrow. And what you'll see over here is the system will show you how Qualcomm stock typically reacts after beating earnings expectations or after missing. Well, it hasn't missed earnings expectations, but in the case of beating, on average, how you could see the stock performing, as well as a range, and then the individual episodes that have generated the beat. You can also play around with this to look at, okay, how does a stock react with a small beat or with the biggest beat, as well as its respective earnings dates. You can use this tool as well for companies which have already reported earnings. So for example, let's do Uber. Uber reported an earnings beat today by 19 cents. But what's interesting to see is that typically when Uber has beaten earnings expectations by 19 cents before, and the one time in the past that it did, it actually saw a downside. And interestingly, Uber stock is down today, despite its beating earnings expectations. So having that hindsight helps you to prepare your strategy. It's not a buy-sell signal anyway, but for someone who maybe has a large position in Uber, it might be a good stop loss for you. Or for someone who wants to get an Uber, they know that potentially I could have a good entry point in Uber today, and returns have historically also seen improvement thereafter. So that's an example of what we're doing across earnings data. And now imagine doing this across all fundamental, technical, macro data across 40,000 global assets. That's that Toggle dashboard for you. So on the dashboard, the first page that opens up is the My Toggle page. As the name says, it's your page because you can connect your portfolio, set up a watch list so that you will receive alerts for only the insights which are in either of those lists. You can create these by going to the top right corner of your screen, connecting a brokerage portfolio. You can connect to IB using the first option or use Plaid for any of the other major brokerages. The IB connection is being a little funky and the IB team is working on it. But in the meantime, I'd recommend setting up a watch list. Very similar, just requires you to search up the company name or ticker to add the asset to your watch list. And then once you've done that, you can head to the My Toggle page. And then over here, whenever a new insight is released for any of those names, it'll pop up to the top of the screen like such, so that Bitcoin and Oil India have new insights today. You can see what the insights are by looking at the right side of the screen. Both of them are bullish, as shown by the upward green arrow, driven by company fundamentals, asset fundamentals in Bitcoin's case. The number on the right side tells you if there are any other alerts you should check out. So the My Toggle page is a good way for you to keep track of insights regarding holdings you care about. On the My Toggle page as well, you'll be able to access the leading indicators. Copilot users get access to their Toggle leading indicator. Pro users get access to the rest. Pro users also get a daily email, which covers all the leading indicators. So not just these, but there are, I think, 3 more that it covers. So that gives you an idea of what you could see happening with the overall market versus insights, which just look at individual assets. If you want to learn more about any of these leading indicators, you can go to that learning center we looked at the start. And then there's a section here for all the leading indicators we generate, what they are, how they generated, and then there are also images to kind of look through the data as well. And then you've got an SPY chart here. You can add names to your watch list throughout the platform by hitting the plus here, or if you search up an asset, I don't know, let's do, I don't think I have it. Yeah, NVIDIA. And if it wasn't on your list, you can hit remove and then add it to your watch list. And if you search up an asset and you see that we don't cover it, let's say, this was the name of an asset and we didn't cover it, drop us an email, support@toggle.ai. If it's on the public markets, any public market, we'll be able to add it to the system in a very short time, and the system can start generating insights for it as well very quickly. So that's the My Toggle page for you. Let's look at the Explore page. The Explore page is your idea generation page. Whenever the system generates an insight, it pops up here on the page. So just today, the system has generated 1,800 insights looking at 2.5 million investing variables. And across those investing variables, it tries to find that interesting shift. And it's found about 2.2 million of those, which it then backtests, tries to find if the price action of the asset thereafter is consistent, if the relationship is robust enough, and it is, then it's generated as an insight. So 1,800 insights just today across those 40,000 assets looked at. Okay, so Joe saying, my watch list is showing yesterday's close. How do you set up so live? So since the market is closed, it's going to be showing yesterday's close on that page over here. So for example, Apple, this is probably yesterday's close, but then if you open the asset, you'll have a ticker which will show you what it closed at today. And then in a few hours, once it takes into account after hours price action, it'll generate that as the final close. And then you'll see that on the My Toggle page. But if you open up the asset, you can see the updated value over here. So back to this Explore page, 1,800 new insights generated today. That's a lot of insights, right? And everyone is trading in different assets, different economies, different sectors. Everyone's got their own preference. So you can use the filters on the left side to narrow down this search to try and find insights that meet your style. Starting from the bottom, you can filter by the sector of the asset, the market cap of the equity, the driver of the insight. So if you have a thesis, for example, where the market is currently at, you can say, okay, I think we're in a range-bound market. Show me insights from my technical analysis, or potentially the market rally has gone too far. Show me stocks that are overbought or have an expensive valuation. Horizon shows you the horizon of the insight. Geography is the geography of the insight. Instrument is the specific asset. Asset class, same thing. Return profile is how the asset is typically performed. Direction of the insight, whether you want one with a bullish or bearish direction. And then stars, which show you the quality of the insight. 5 stars is the minimum, 8 is the max. More stars, more robust the insight. And you've also got top screens here to help you pull up insights quickly. For example, insights for your portfolio, insights for your watch list, what's most popular, or if you bookmark an insight, opening those as well. So top screens, quick filters. Okay, so Richie's asking, if you're an IB client, how do you get access to Toggle? Do you need to provide a username and password? So to access Toggle via your IB account, you'll need to log into your IBKR client portal. And from your client portal, you'll go to GFIS subscriptions, which are those research subscriptions, and then you can add Toggle to that subscription. When you go through that process, it's going to ask you to create a password. It usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes for that account to be created once you create the password. And then after that, you can go to toggle.ai, log into the dashboard using your IB credentials, and then sometimes you might even need to reset your password, which you can also do from the login page. If you need any help with setting up that account, drop us an email, support@toggle.ai. We'd be happy to take a look for you. So using those filters, you can set up these screens. Come with a theme, I don't know, a preference of yours. If you're a technical trader, for example, in US stocks. So for example, you want to find bullish ideas for stocks in the US that could see a move over the next 1 week. The system says, okay, I found 18 insights that meet that criteria within the last 2 weeks. Then you can save this as a screen. We'll call this 1 week up move. And then creating these screens are super easy because then once you come to the platform, since it's constantly being updated, you can just quickly hit those screens to find the updated ideas so that you don't miss out on any cool insights. That's the Explore page for you, idea generation. Cool, so we talked about the My Toggle page and the portfolio and the watch list, which can help you keep track of insights about holdings you care about. Then there's the Explore page to help you find new trade ideas. And now let's look at an asset.
Yes. How do I find stocks for day trading?
Good question. So we don't offer insights for day trading because that data is completely different. So the shortest horizon you'd find is 1 week for the insights. But then for Toggle Pro members who get the scenario tool, they can get distributions on a daily basis as well. So for example, I'll explain this to you guys in a little detail, but just to show Arvind, if you search up using the backtesting tool, you can kind of create your own insights. So what happens to General Electric when the yield curve inverts? And here you can see daily returns, but that's the minimum you can get as a day trader. Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Arvind. Okay, question from Mark. Any insights for uncorrelated assets, for example, allocating a certain percentage of stock bonds, how can they perform altogether, dynamically allocating to percentage? Okay, so when looking at insights, the correlated assets are all generated based on the knowledge graph we've created. With a Toggle Pro account, you can look at that correlation a little more, right? So for example, what happens to the price of Coinbase when the price of Bitcoin rises, or what happens to the price of gold when US treasuries rise, for example. So you're able to look at that correlation using the scenario tool, but other than that, the correlated assets, if they're correlated and hard-coded in the knowledge graph, they'll show up as insights on the platform. But yeah, if you want to look at specific performance over, an asset of your choice, a condition of your choice, the scenario tool will be best for that. Okay, Richard is asking, yeah, okay, Richard, let's go through that. So when you search up any asset, the first page that will pop up, or well, the only page that'll pop up is the asset overview page. This asset overview page gives you an overview of all the information we have available for the asset. You'd also see these dots start to show up on the chart. Red dots represent bearish insights, green dots represent bullish insights, yellow dots represent news insights, and an insight lock might show up if you're looking at an index on a Copilot account. This legend is static, meaning it doesn't update based on your subscription tier. So that's why it might be a little confusing, and we're working on fixing that. But if you're, for example, on the S&P 500 and you're on a Copilot account, you might see a locked insight for the ES, or if you're on the NASDAQ for NQ futures. So that's where that locked feature comes into play if you're looking at an insight that is above your tier. Or if you're on a basic account, you can't look at 6, 7, 8 star insights. So you'll see a lock on that. But this is just static. Don't worry about it. If you have a paid Copilot account through IB, you should be able to access all except those futures. Good question. And then this dot, which is a bearish insight, corresponds to the insight on the right side. So this is all the available information Toggle has. It's a risk off watch insight. You can click on it, click the read article to go to the full insight, or look at the indicators which have generated the insight. You've also got these other cards here, which are called good to knows. Essentially, Toggle is looking at hundreds of financial indicators every day. So to try and make it as easy as possible, it's highlighting the indicators which are at those interesting levels: price at a high, dividend yield at a low, analysts becoming more positive on EPS, the recommendations analysts have for stock. So highlighting those interesting indicators, but you can also look at all the indicators available by going to the chart tool, hitting the price button, and here you got a drop down of all the indicators we have available just for General Electric. But that asset overview page is good because it highlights the ones which are at interesting levels. Here you have general news about General Electric, Toggle Insights. It'll pick up the most recent one, give you a little preview, key values in the asset, and then related assets. We didn't talk about news insights, so let me just quickly show you that. So what a news insight is these yellow dots. And if you scroll to the bottom, if you see the yellow dots on the chart and you scroll to the bottom, the system will basically pick out news articles that it believes could be significant to the price of the asset. Here you'll see general news, right? But these articles, the system has picked up because it believes it could have an impact on consumer sentiment and hence the price of the asset. So those news insights help you to kind of sift out articles to find out the most impactful ones. And now let's look at a quick insight. Okay, so quick question comes from Gordon. If I have an IBKR account, is there a button to connect to that account through Toggle? So if you have an account through IBKR, I'd highly recommend setting up Copilot through GFIS because you essentially get Copilot for free. If you sign up directly, you'll pay $10 a month for that tier. So if you're on IBKR, you can essentially get a $10 subscription for free. If you get Toggle Pro, you can get all the Pro features as well as a monthly trading commission reimbursement up to $99. So if you're trading pretty frequently and you rack up trading commissions, that's a pretty easy sell. And then connecting your portfolio allows you to just stay up to date with insights regarding those names rather than having to look for those insights. Okay, another question. Richie's coming. No, so the news insights, imagine it's just you have like 1,000 articles generated almost like every minute for assets. So what it's essentially doing is just pulling ones that it believes could be the most impactful. So for example, if an asset shows up on these are 10 stocks Warren Buffett is bullish about over the next 3 months, that is an important article. Or on the other hand, if it's a stock about, hey, the company is now moving offices, it might not highlight that because that's not very impactful to the price. Cool. Good questions. Let's quickly go through an insight in the last few minutes. So this is what an insight looks like. The structure of an insight is really the same. So once you understand the structure, it's very easy to read an insight. An insight is split into 4 sections. You've got the overview, the why it might move, the quality checklist, and the past performance. For higher level basis, the overview gives you everything you need to know. What the system was looking at, General Electric company's 1 month realized volatility, notice it reached a recent low. It's observed this happened 9 times in the past. Historically, when it's observed this happen, it's usually led to downside of 15% over the following 6 months. The insight got a 6 out of 8 stars, so it's more robust than 5 stars. And then if you look at the right side, you've also got a hit rate, which tells you based on the 9 times in the past we observed such an event occurring, what percent of the time did the asset follow the median prediction? 94% of the time. The graph here gives you an idea of what the asset could perform like. The dotted lines are the median, the confidence interval around are the other possibilities, and then the red line is basically the price at which, if you see the asset getting too close to, something else might be happening here. So maybe General Electric has some growth coming out of it, or it's just cheaply valued relative to valuation, so it could see further upside. The toggle is essentially telling you, based on historical data, here's what I've seen happen most of the time, but if it were to kind of go away or deter from that path, something else is happening here that requires a little more research from your end. The more detailed section looks at what the system was looking at to generate the insight and when it was looking at it. You can also see the parameters here, as well as the exact episode dates here. And what's positive to see that it's looking at episodes that are pretty recent to the asset's life. The system will then look at how the asset performs across all these 5 horizons for each of these episodes, and then identify over what horizon has it seen the best return with the highest percentage of the time. These are the 8 conditions the system backtests against itself. It needs to meet at least 5 of these conditions in order to be published as an insight. In this case, it got 6 out of 8 stars. The first 2 were not achieved. Firstly, we had not seen the condition occur across different business cycles. We also had not seen it occur at least 10 times in the past. Again, we're not telling you to do anything. This is not a black box in any way, it just is a way for you to get thinking. And if you see this, for example, occurred at least 10 times, not occurred, or sorry, hasn't got the star, has seen it occur across different business cycles, you can kind of say, well, I've seen this happen 9 times in the past, so does one more really make a big difference? And also seeing it occur at different economic cycles, given it's happened in the recent economic cycle and performed as such, maybe I don't need to see it happening across. Maybe I don't need that star to be achieved. Versus if you see episodes which are like across the asset's life, 2002, 2006, 2008, 2009, 2012, 2015, you want to see it happening across different business cycles. So it's a more robust relationship. And then the last thing the system also looks at is how the asset performed in the past. So this shows you the cumulative value of a short position had you had one on General Electric every single time it observed this happen in the past. What's positive to see is that cumulatively returns are positive and volatility is also not that much. You can see that on the individual chart as well. Yes, we had one episode where we saw positive returns, but majority of the returns were on the downside. They were also pretty kind of condensed around this 5 to 15% range, with some episodes of even seeing downside as much as 40%. So that gives you an idea of the returns you can see. So that's how you look it through an insight. But what's really cool with the scenario tool, which comes with Toggle Pro, is that you can break down this insight. So for example, sure, I can see downside in General Electric of 15% of the next 6 months. Median returns have looked like 0.5%, or sorry, 0.5%, whatever, 0.05%. You can open this tool in scenario, and what it allows you to do is it allows you to break down the insight to look at daily returns across the distribution, daily returns across shorter horizons. And then what's really cool as well is if you think, okay, I've seen this happen 15%, you usually see 50% downside over a 6-month horizon. But I saw this happen pretty recently, right? We saw those 2023 dates. I'm going to hover over that and I'm going to see, okay, what do those returns actually look like recently? And what you can see that they're pretty scattered. What are the respective best returns, worst returns? What are their dates as well? And then just like we rate insights, we rate these as well. So why could this be a robust relationship? Why could it not? This is how you can break down an insight using the scenario tool. You can also use this on any of the good to knows we generate. For example, low 4 PE in General Electric. What has that historically meant for the stock? Run the scenario. Or S&P 500 dropped 4% in a day. What does that typically imply for General Electric stock? Here's how the stock typically reacts. You might notice the system also selects a horizon, similar to how it selects one for the insight. It'll also select one for your scenario. And then where the real power comes in is where you can build your own conditions. And this is for, if you're looking at correlation, right? You can look at anything because you can essentially bypass the knowledge graph using the scenario tool. What happens to General Electric, for example, when this might be completely unrelated. For example, those are quite unrelated assets, General Electric and Pfizer, but because scenario allows you to do whatever you want using this backtesting tool, you can still see what are the returns you could expect if this event were to happen and the impact on General Electric. You can do the same thing using any of the assets we cover. You get 40,000 with Toggle Pro, so commodities, currencies, futures, and then economic conditions as well regarding any economic data. So that's that scenario tool for you. There's so much you can do with it. It's really up to your use case. So if it's something you're interested in, let me know. Happy to set you up with a free trial and talk to you about, how would you best use this tool if there's something you're interested in. Awesome. So we've gone through everything that's currently available on the platform. Now let me show you some fun stuff which is coming up. The first thing I want to show you is Chart Commander. So let's look at Tesla to just create a cool story. So what the Chart Commander does for people who are, looking at charts and they want to chart an asset within a specific range, but they have no idea what that range, what those dates are, the Chart Commander helps you to shave off a few seconds in that investing, in that strategy of yours. So for example, show me Tesla stock since Biden became president. So we know, President Biden became president. We just don't know when he became president, right? We don't have the exact date. The system is able to pull that up quickly for you and say, here, what has been the impact of Tesla? And as you can see, Tesla is actually down ever since Biden became president. You can then say, show me Tesla stock when Trump was president. And boom, it'll show you, hey, here's been the impact of Tesla when Trump was in power. Really interesting. So you can do this as well with any of the indicators. So show me the 4 PE of Tesla since, I don't know, a rocket was launched or any event, long as it's a public event and the system is able to get a date, it'll be able to plot that for you. So saves you a few seconds in that process. Another cool tool, and one which is coming very soon, is this chat tool. So everything we've done so far is available to do with many clicks and time, as you can tell. But with this large language model, you'd basically be able to kind of get all the research we've done, over the last 30 minutes in the span of a few seconds, almost like you're just chatting with Toggle. So what happens to Uber stock when the company misses earnings expectations? It'll link to that earnings tool, which we looked at on the front, and it'll show you, okay, here is the widget on the right side to get an idea of how the stock could perform. And then it'll also show you, hey, they reported earnings on today. This is what happened with the result. We also have news sources connected to this, so you can find out what's happening to Tesla in the news, and it'll pull up the most interesting news articles about Tesla. Then I just want to show you something else really quickly, is we've also hooked up a few JP Morgan research reports to this system so that you can get a professional commentary. So for example, what are reasons to be bearish about the US economy? Question that everyone has in their mind, right? What the system will do is it'll then plug into those research documents that it has to try and get you an answer. So essentially trying to give you either professional commentary or data wherever we can. And what we've tried our best as well to do with the system is that if you ask it a question that it doesn't know, it'll clearly say, I don't know, because we don't want our system hallucinating, because with something like financial research, you want to be as explicit as you can. So that's that chat tool. It's coming very soon. We're working as hard as we can to bring it to market, but it's getting there, and we're super happy with our work so far. You're just gonna answer some questions. Okay, so for Joe, is there a written tutorial like a PDF? Yes, absolutely, Joe. When I follow up with you after the session with the recording, there will also be a link to a user guide which has a PDF. Is the chat live? No, not yet. So it's currently in its beta phase, but very soon it will be live. But I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek into what it could look like. So right here, able to answer any and all of your questions. And with that, that is all I have for you folks. So thanks for your time. Here's some ways for you guys to reach out to us. If you have any future questions, you can reach out via email, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and then our main website, www.foggle.ai. So Joe, can it recommend a recession type portfolio? No, it cannot recommend. We don't make any recommendations at all, but very soon, we are working on refining our explore page so that eventually, rather than just giving you single assets, it can give you a basket of assets that could do well in a specific scenario. And those won't be recommendations. Will just be like based on previous episodes when we've kind of gotten out of a recessionary period, what are stocks that have done the best, and I'll be able to generate that for you. So that's coming soon. Will you open a user forum? We haven't really decided on that, but if that's something you're interested in, drop us an email, support@toggle.ai, say you'd love to test the chat tool when it's live, and we'll definitely put you in to test the tool. Awesome, folks. Great session. Thanks for all the questions. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any others. My name is Karan, and enjoy the rest of your day.